It is essential for ambitious men to set benchmarks for their performance. Benchmarks with levels of difficulty that demand improvement, and benchmarks that are to be reached by a certain time. Without setting a deadline to your goals, you aren't held accountable to achieve them. You can always achieve them later. I don't want to see any yawn emojis in the comments. I know that this is obvious, and I know that you've heard it before. What is less obvious is that properly setting the difficulty and deadlines of your goals can make a tremendous difference in how quickly and how steadily you grow as a man. The benefit of creating goals intelligently is that you'll have a great balance of motivation and satisfaction. Goals that are too easy leave you feeling satisfaction you don't deserve, whereas goals that are over your head will trick you into thinking you aren't progressing when you actually are. The psychology of goal setting is important to respect here. Don't underestimate the difference in energy and motivation you will feel when you walk toward a well-set deadline and achieve it with great execution, compared to failing an unrealistic deadline or achieving an easy one. The key word here is pride. Pride that you succeeded, and succeeded in something worthwhile. Now, you can't run without walking, and it'd be a shame to bother walking if you're not ever going to run. This is why we have short and long-term goals. The danger with long-term goals is making them too small, not too big. That's what the short-term goals are for, stepping stones to the greater vision. There's nothing more difficult to admire and be inspired by than a goal so attainable that you're barely even excited to achieve it. For the love of all things good, don't make your ultimate ambition a $100,000 salary, a 2-plate bench press, or to be the best at what you do in your small town. Even if these goals would put you in a good position, and even if they're difficult to achieve with decent competition, they are likely not reflective of your ultimate potential over a handful of decades. If you're starting from zero, goals like this belong in a 5-year plan, not a vision of the man you always knew you could be. On the other hand, transforming your body, financial status, and skill level is something far too optimistic for a 1-week or even 1-month plan. Even the most ambitious and highly accomplished will agree with that. There's motivating yourself by challenging the limit of possibility, and then there's discouraging yourself with goals that are quite literally impossible to achieve. To be clear, we do not believe in calling a man's ambition unrealistic. If you come from nothing and aspire to be a billionaire, if you're starting your journey later in life and want to be the greatest of all time in your space, if you aim to do something never before done, we hope you never give up, and we hope that you get there. But you have to understand it will take time to get there. You have to be able to become excited and motivated by the prospect of getting 1% closer to your vision, and to understand that if your vision is a grand one that's worthwhile, getting 1% closer may not be a short or easy endeavor. The best way to periodize goals is to trickle them down from long-term visions into actionable steps. For example, your 1-year goal may be to bench press 2 plates, which is 225 pounds or 100 kilograms. I won't start an argument here over metric and imperial units, but you can feel free to in the comments. If your current maximum bench press is about half of that, then by adding 1 kilogram, or 2.2 pounds, to your bench press maximum on average every week will allow you to achieve that goal with 2 weeks to spare. Since your strength can grow and plateau in a non-linear fashion, and you shouldn't be maxing out every time you train, it's best to make monthly goals rather than daily or weekly goals here. So, you may endeavor to add around 4 kilograms, or 10 pounds, to your bench press personal best every month. This will trickle down into more specific, recurring goals, such as bench pressing twice a week, every week, and eating 150 grams of protein every day. You can see how we can quickly figure out how to extrapolate daily, weekly, and monthly goals out of an achievement we seek to make in 1 year. Similarly, if you have a 10-year goal to become world-class in your field, you need to break down every constituent skill required. For example, an aspiring UFC champion will need to know how to strike and grapple while having great strength and stellar cardio, and some skills on the microphone. You can narrow down the necessary activities to excel from this end vision. Whatever your pursuit, there are things you can do to optimize your growth if you intelligently analyze your areas of targeted growth, if you identify the pathways to achieve growth, and if you craft a strategy to utilize all of these perspectives. Now, it's time to make it all happen. In addition to the challenges of consistent action, you'll likely find some mental obstacles along the way. Don't forget that the goals you create are somewhat arbitrary. When you made a weekly goal, you were either guessing or estimating what you're actually capable of doing in a week. Side note, why not make your goal to push yourself as hard as possible and see what that looks like? You might fall short of your goal, but still make incredible progress and still push yourself very hard. On the other hand, you might hit your goal for the week in just 4 days, which means your goals were too modest in the first place. When you're actualizing and refining your goals, it gets easier over time. Just 1 week of attempting to meet a deadline of performance metrics, and you have a general idea of where your limits are, what you can accomplish across 7 days. This makes it easier to go on to create more accurate and reasonable goals. As a general rule, always aim to do a little better than last week. Yes, this means focusing a little more, working a few more hours, and making your workflow a little more efficient and effective. But above all, aim to grow more. The effort you put in and the benefits you get out are very closely linked, but the correlation is not a perfect one. Make sure you're measurably becoming a higher performer in your long-term goals and a more efficient, dedicated, focused routine from week to week. If you want to see an in-depth, step-by-step guide on specific goal setting that covers every piece of attaining your dream future, let us know in the comments. For now, set yourself some short, medium, and long-term goals, and let us know what they are. We might just hold you accountable.